Move to Millions Monday. It's your girl, Dr. Darnyelle, Jervey Harmon, excited to be back with you for another Move to Millions Monday. Okay, so today we are kicking off a brand new series. The series is called Confessions of a Real $1 Million CEO. I am so excited for this series, and I'm so excited for all of you who will join me across all of the platforms. So you might see me looking in various directions. We are live on the Darnyelle Jervey Harmon Instagram page. We are live in the Move to Millions Facebook group and the Move to Millions Club on Clubhouse and on LinkedIn. I think all the gang is here, and we should get this party started. Today's conversation is powered by the Move to Millions Tour. The Move to Millions Tour is an opportunity for you to come and experience firsthand, live with me and my team, how or what it's going to take to prepare your business to make and move millions. In the month of March, we will be visiting Atlanta, Georgia on March the 8th, Washington, D.C. on March the 2nd, and we will be right here in Delaware on March the 10th. We are planning for a virtual tour stop for anybody who cannot get to any of those places. But listen to me. You want to come live. You want to come and experience me and this content live if you can. We are doing something we have never done before, and we have done tons of tours. I've been touring since 2011. We are showing part of our brand new forthcoming Move to Millions docuseries, where it shows me working directly with 4 clients who in 2021 all made the move to millions. So you're going to have an opportunity to see upfront, live and personal, what it takes to be a real $1 million CEO. Today's conversation inside of this real Confessions of a Real $1 Million CEO is this. Are you ready? Grab pen, grab paper. CEOing ain't easy. And if you're wondering where I took it from Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Because it ain't easy, y'all. And so I really want to get into just sharing some initial thoughts around it. And then as we typically do, we will, if we have time, we'll open it up to some questions. But I want to offer an opportunity for you, those of you who have millions on your mind. If you're watching me on any of the platforms right now and you have millions on your mind, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you have millions on your mind. This is why it's important, because you have to first acknowledge that it's a desire that you have. Write this down. You will not see it if you don't first see it, and you will not experience it. So it all starts with making a decision. You have to decide that you have millions on your mind, and that you don't just want millions on your mind, but you actually want to open up an environment where you can bring millions into your life experience. I remember when I first started my company back in 2007, no clue how to build a ground up company, but very clear that I had what it took in order to operate at that level. I never wanted to stop at a 6-figure business. Never. That ain't enough. Like, can we just keep it all the way real? It is not enough to make 6 figures. Now, I know you could argue with me that $900,000 is also 6 figures, and you'd be right. But for most people who are making 6 figures, they're on the lower end. They're on that $100,000 to $200,000, even $300,000 a year. In my opinion, if you want to be able to pay yourself 6 figures, then your business needs to do 4 times that. That means your business needs to do $400,000 a year. And this is under the auspices that when a person hires you, when you're at 6 figures or lower, they are hiring just you. When you are you're at $400,000 or more, you actually put yourself in a position for them to be hiring your company. That means you actually have people to CEO. See, some of y'all have CEO on your business card, and I'm not really trying to throw shade at you, because I used to have CEO on my business card before I was one too. But some of you have CEO on your business card, and it sounds cute, and it was a no-brainer decision for you to decide to call yourself that, but you are actually not operating as a CEO. So here's what I want to do throughout this series. I want to share with you some of my real life confessions. Like I don't even know which album it was, but the Usher album, when he sings that song, "These Are My Confessions." Now, granted, he's talking about dipping on his main girl with his side piece. We're not talking about that, but I am going to share my confessions. I have been in business since 2007. I have been successful in business since 2011. 11 years full time in this business. I crossed the 7-figure mark for the very first time in 2014. That was almost 8 years ago that happened. I think I know a couple of things about what it takes to be a real CEO. And see, for those of you who want to make and move millions, I want to offer you a true perspective of what it's going to take to get there. Write this down. No one goes to bed a blunder and wakes up a wonder. Every single one of us is on a journey, myself included. We're now journeying to 8 figures. And even as we journey to 8 figures, I've given us 3 years to get there. And the reason I've given us 3 years to get there is because there's a lot of things that I don't even know yet. Now, I've hired some coaches that run 8 and 9 figure companies to be able to guide me through the process, right? That's a sidebar lesson for you. If you don't have a coach that has already walked a mile in the shoes that you are trying on, that's your first problem. See, if you really want to be a CEO, you've got to be surrounded by true CEOs. And what I'm going to do in this conversation, in addition to unpacking some of my own story about how I realized that CEOing ain't easy, it is not for the faint at heart. We have to make tough decisions. I mean, can we just talk about that for a second? We have to actually make decisions. And decisions that don't just affect you, but affect the livelihood of other people, right? When you are a CEO, you're going to have employees or contractors. You're going to have team members that are working with you every single day that are the only version of your business that many people ever get to see, that are determining your footprint and how people look at you on the planet. All of that has to be stewarded by your understanding of your company and what your company does. And I just want to keep it real with you. That is a lot of weight to carry. See, when I first crossed the $1 million mark back in 2014, I wanted to blow up my business. I hated it. It was everything Biggie said it would be. It was more money and it was more problems. And the fact that I paid $400,000 in taxes was a small fraction of the problems that I experienced because I was not ready to be a CEO. There's a confession for you. I'll probably do a whole episode on that. But I was not ready to be a CEO. Here I was trying to fit myself into this mold in this box without a true understanding of what it actually takes and what it means to be a CEO of your own million or multi-million dollar company. So the first thing I want to do for you in this very first episode in this brand new series, Confessions of a Real $1 Million CEO, I'm not going to just because I got all of these people on all of these different platforms, but I could show you my receipts. I could show you that in 2021, we made $2 million in cash in our business. I could show you that, right? I could show you the decisions that I had to make. I could show you my payroll. Would that be helpful for you to see my payroll, to know that I'm not playing? To turn the lights on in this place, in Incredible One Enterprises, it costs us about $40,000 a month to turn the lights on. Can I keep it real with you? CEO, it ain't easy. Some of y'all are not consistently making $10,000 or $15,000 a month. So in order for me to pay on my team, I have 7 full-time employees. So to pay all of my team, plus myself, right, to turn the lights on, to get up and do what it is that we need to do, we need at least, and that's just to cover our basic necessities, $40,000. I worked with my operations manager to create our budget for 2022. And the number that we have in our budget to run this business every single day, a business that is going to get us to 8 figures, it's going to cost us about $1 to $1.5 million to run this business. Now we're talking $90,000 to $150,000 a month to turn the lights on. Do I have your attention yet? About CEOing ain't easy, but I'm going to back up and I'm going to define what I mean by CEO, because I think it's cute to put it on your business card when it's just you, your laptop, and your cell phone to call yourself a CEO. But you have to have something to CEO you have to have something to EO, executive over, in order to actually call yourself a chief executive officer. So when I talk about being a CEO, I'm talking about being the CEO of a company in the traditional sense. Now, I know that there are some nuances and people want to tell you that you can have an online business with a virtual assistant and your laptop and work from anywhere and you can be a CEO. Yeah, I'm not talking to people who think that. I'm talking to people who realize the significance of the role that they are in and want to show up as a leader to steward the vision, their people, and their company forward. That's who I'm talking to. So let's define CEO, right? So first, I'm going to give you a definition from Google, and I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong. So Google says, a CEO, by definition, is a chief executive officer. It's the highest ranking executive of a firm. CEOs act as the company's public face and make major decisions. The CEO is responsible for implementing existing plans and policies, ensuring successful management of the business, and setting future strategy. A CEO is responsible for the success or failure of the organization. As such, the CEO oversees the organization's various functions, including compliance, finance, human resources, legal, marketing, operations, sales, and technology. The CEO oversees these functions while considering the needs of different constituencies or stakeholders, including employees, customers, contractors, and investors. Okay, can I just stop right there? Take a breath, because that was a mouthful. Anybody tired? I know y'all can't see me. I'm raising my hand, right? If you are tired right now, just hearing me read the description, the definition of a CEO, put a 2 in the chat if you're tired right now. So what does all of that mean? Let me break it down to you. It means that if this is your company, you alone are responsible for making the decisions, stewarding the vision, and operating the business in order to get to profit. See, as entrepreneurs turned business owners, we start businesses in order to generate a profit. A profit not only for ourselves, but a profit for our communities and our families, right? You guys have heard me say before, if you didn't come from millions, millions ought to come from you, right? The way I believe, I think that there are lots of ways to build wealth. I personally am of the belief that God created entrepreneurship, business ownership, as a major vehicle and vessel to the pursuit of creating wealth and legacy. Now, let me define legacy for you just to make sure we're all on the same page. Legacy is about money. Some of y'all didn't think that. Legacy is about money. The definition of legacy includes being able to leave something, resource, to those who come behind you. I am of the belief that being the CEO of a company that generates millions, that makes and moves millions, will put you in a position to have millions to leave to those that you love and you want to add value to after you're gone in the form of finances. Now, yes, I know people just died, right? And people are talking about the legacy that Betty White just left, or Andre Talley, the fashion icon that just passed away. People are talking about the legacy that they left for in fashion. Legacy is financial. Let's just be clear. If you are not stewarding your business in such a way to leave something financially to those who will be here long after you're gone, you are not creating a legacy. Sorry, don't kill the messenger. I'm just speaking the truth. Right? So to be the CEO of your own company, a true CEO, it's work. Write that down, put that in the chat, put it on a t-shirt. Like it doesn't have to be hustle and grind work. That is a popular misconception, but it is actual work that needs to be done on a consistent basis. There are days as the CEO of Incredible One Enterprises where I don't want to be bothered, where I don't want to be the CEO, where I don't want to make decisions. But guess what? I don't have the luxury, because I made a decision that I wanted to create a business that would leave a legacy for my future children that don't even exist yet, and also allow those who work with me to be able to contribute significantly to their own households, right? I want to be able to pay my people well. And in order to do all of that, it requires me as the chief visionary, the person who created all of the assets and the things that we had, or at least had the vision in mind for them, to be able to show up in a specific way, leveraging a specific energy with a specific leadership style, and generating in a way that gives my team the ability to think about what's next. So we did this interesting activity today on our team meeting. So every Monday, we have an all hands meeting. For those of you who don't know what that is, an all hands meeting is when all hands, everyone in your business, comes together for the purposes of the business. It could be like a weekly State of the Union. At this meeting, as the CEO, I set the tone. So today we prayed, and then we did an exercise around gratitude and what they're most excited about. Some members of the team shared what they're excited about inside of the company. Some members of the team shared what they're grateful and excited about or what's happening in their families. But we just create an environment for everyone to feel seen and heard, and to know that their contribution matters for the way that we show up as a company. After that, I give the weekly State of the Union. So I talk to them about our revenue, like where are our sales and where's our revenue. I believe in running a transparent company. I believe in being a CEO of a company that is transparent. I want my team to understand what we are doing and the role that they all play. I know that there are some people who don't share that philosophy. It's your prerogative. But as for me and my company, I run it transparently. I want them to know what we're doing and what we're not doing. If we're in a launch or we are preparing for a launch and we fall short, I want them to know. I want everyone to be clear about the role that they play inside of our organization. So I went through the process of doing our weekly KPIs, right? So we talked about sales, and we talked about revenue. We talked about new leads that came in, and of those leads, how many of them were qualified? We talked about the process and where we are in the process of taking those qualified leads and turning them into applications so that they could potentially become new clients inside of our business. I share this every single week. I also share what I'm working on as the CEO of the company to move the vision forward. Now, I am at the point in my business's trajectory where the amount of time that I spend in client service delivery has substantially dropped. There's a point in time, there will be a point in time for you as a CEO when you will start moving into the CEO role, and you might still be the primary service provider for your business. And that's okay, because when you first get your business to the six-figure mark and you start moving up, they're going to be hiring you. But as you start bringing on team and you train and develop that team and you teach that team your methodologies, your frameworks, and all of those things, and you have develop them and given them the ability to move beyond that, then what you'll start to see is that you don't have to be present for your clients to get transformation. Now, just so we're clear, as a CEO, that does not mean that I am somewhere in the corner eating bonbons, watching Maury Povich. No, because I'm a CEO. So I'm still in my office, but I'm working on the business instead of in the business. I'm strategically presiding over the vision that I have for this business. I'm thinking about the big goals that God is downloading into my brain, and I'm figuring out how to translate those big visions and those big goals into tactical tips and strategies that we as a company, department by department, can utilize to get the results that I am seeing in my vision. See, when you're the CEO, you have to have time for that. This is why I'm telling you that CEOing ain't easy. See, some of you, you're calling yourself CEOs, but you don't have enough time in the day to actually strategically preside over your business. Your business is happening to you. You're very reactive and not proactive. If you're a person who right now in your business, you're feeling more reactive than you are than being proactive, I want you to put a 3 in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat. If you feel like right now, as the CEO of your company, you spend the majority of your time being reactive. You're reacting to what's happening around you instead of being proactive in stewarding the vision for your company. So one of the things that has to change as the CEO is you need to become freed up to create an environment where that is the way you can show up. Let me repeat that. You need to become freed up so that you can create the environment that you get to show up as visionary energy to steward where the company is going. See, if you have your head down like this all of the time, you're going to look up and it's going to be the end of January, right? It's going to be the end of the first quarter. It's going to be the end of the third quarter. It's going to be the end of the year. And you haven't actually actioned many of the ideas and the visions that you had because you were too busy working in your business. I hear in the spirit that right now someone is like, Darnyelle, this all sounds good. But the challenge that I have with it is, where am I supposed to find the money to be able to pay these people so that I can CEO? If you have that question right now, I want you to put a 4. I think we're up to 4. Put a 4 in the chat if that's a question you're asking yourself, right? This all sounds good. I'd love to be the CEO, but how do I make that happen? Today, where I sit at 6 figures, I just can't fathom. I can't see how that could be possible for me. If that's you, put a 4 in the chat. That's where we are now. We're at a 4. All right, I'm going to catch my breath for a second and just let's do a quick reset for the people who just joined us. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to Move to Millions Monday. I am your host, Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. I'm the CEO, the $1 million CEO of Incredible One Enterprises. We are a business transformation company. We transform six-figure service-based entrepreneurs into CEOs that make and move millions. If you are millions minded, if you have thought about, prayed about, hoped for, desire, like you desire your next breath to be able to serve the planet at and beyond the $1 million mark, welcome home. You are finally in a place where you're going to be told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth of what it takes to build a business to the $1 million mark. And I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm doing this actually to prepare you. I believe preparation precedes profit. Somebody better write that down. I heard my assistant Shanique in the other room say, that was good. Preparation precedes profit. So that means you have to prepare. This whole conversation and this entire series, it's powered by Move to Millions Live, which is happening in May of 2022. Right now, registration is open for you to join us on tour for a preview, an introduction to the Move to Millions framework and the Move to Millions method and how we actually go about preparing our clients to get to the $1 million mark. Again, as I said earlier, the Move to Millions is it's a trajectory. No one goes to bed a blunder and wakes up a wonder, right? We're going to help our clients get to $250,000, then $500,000, then $750,000, and $1 million. Sometimes all within the same 12 months, sometimes over a period of time. We are fully committed to serving our clients to be able to establish businesses that serve them financially and spiritually. This past year in 2021, based on the results of our mastermind, we had 34 people in our mastermind. 65% or 22 of those people in our mastermind hit one of our clubs along the Move to Millions continuum. And 4 clients inside of the mastermind made the Move to Millions. 10 clients total of our 3 programs that we offer right now made the Move to Millions. I'm just sharing this with you so that you know I'm not spouting theory to you. I'm a person who's actually done it. I've done it myself. We had a multi-million-dollar year, and I'm also helping other people to do it. And so when I think about sharing with you the confessions of being a real CEO and making sure that you understand that CEOing ain't easy, it's going to take work. There is work involved. It doesn't have to be break your back work, but it is work. And in order for you to set your business up to be on a trajectory to get to the milestone that you desire to hit, you're going to have to get clear about some things. Right? You're going to have to get clear about why you really want to make millions. I want you to write that down. As we go through this series and I share some of my biggest confessions with you about what I've seen and what I've experienced over the last 8 years as a $1 million CEO, the last 11 years full-time in my business, and the last 14 years total in my business, I believe that success leaves clues. And so my mission, my mantle and my mandate for this series is to leave you some success clues and to also offer you an opportunity to get what it is that you need in order to begin the move for yourself. It doesn't matter where you sit today. It matters where you desire to sit tomorrow, right? And taking the time to get yourself prepared to actually make that happen inside of your life experience if you truly desire to be a CEO. Now, let's just also be clear. If you just want to get to 6 figures and that's it, I might not be the person for you. Because we don't even start working with people until you're at 6 figures. Just so we're clear. Right? So I might not be the right person for you. I am for the person who wants to pay themselves at least 6 figures and build a business that has $1 million gross profit at minimum so that they can ultimately also set themselves up to become a millionaire. A millionaire is defined by having at least $1 million cash in assets. That means if you went to your bank, your stock portfolio, your insurance policies, your real estate portfolio, tomorrow you could get out at least $1 million. I personally have been a millionaire since 2010. No, 2010, 2011 was when our first assets went to $1 million. Today, I'm not going to tell y'all how much money I have as a millionaire because I know all my cousins and I don't need nobody sliding in my DMs trying to see if they can hold something. So we're going to leave it right there for now. All right, I wrote a couple other notes of things that I wanted to share with you as we talk about this CEOing not being easy, right? I think a lot of people think that The CEO is supposed to do all the things. That would be inaccurate. The CEO is supposed to strategically preside over all the things. But a true org chart, which will probably happen in stages for you, is going to have people in between you and the ones who are actually doing the work that are managing your team. So as a CEO, one of the critical roles, and you won't start here, by the way, your first hires will not be a management team. And so although you have a desire to be a CEO, you won't be one tomorrow. You won't be one overnight. It's going to take time. When I first started building my team, when I had an executive assistant, I was the only team member I had. I wasn't even really a CEO. I wasn't even. That's what was on my business card, but I was really probably at best the president or the principal service provider in my company. That's really who I was, because it was me serving the clients and my assistant doing everything else. Well, no, I was serving the clients, I was doing the marketing, and I was doing the sales, and then she was doing everything else. So there are stages even to your CEO-ness. And there's a trajectory that you'll be firmly planted on in order to get to the true status of being a CEO, right? As the CEO, your primary directive, as you realize that you bottleneck your business, because that's what's going to happen. If you're trying to be all the things in your business, you will create a bottleneck. A bottleneck is a point at which nothing, something, or everything, nothing, something, or everything, it could be all of them, is not getting accomplished because it is the requirement of getting it done rests and relies on you, and you're the sole person or the almost sole person inside of your business. That's a bottleneck. If you know right now you operate in your business in a bottleneck, put a 5 in the chat. I think we're up to 5. I want to see who are those who will admit that they're a bottleneck. I used to be a bottleneck. Can I be honest with you? There's still some places that I bottleneck my business. And that just means that I have work to do. Again, this is real confessions. I'm not acting as if I woke up like this. I did not. I assure you, I did not wake up like this. It is a process and a journey, and we are yet still on the journey. And there are some things that my team is waiting for me on that I haven't gotten to yet, that I need to do a better job at figuring out how to get beyond that in order to make sure that I take us to where it is, and to make sure that I'm free to be the parts of the company that no one does better than me. That's the ultimate goal of the CEO, right? To be that big picture, visionary energy, to be able to back into what it's going to take and then download the strategy and the tactics and the steps into your team so that they can get into action and produce the results that you want. Those are the types of things that need to happen as the CEO. Now, as a CEO, you are going to be responsible for hiring, especially in the beginning. There comes a time where it could make sense where you might bring on a consultant, an HR consultant, to help you hire your talent, right? But when you're first starting, it's probably going to be on you, and it should, I don't know if this is going to make you excited or not when I say this, but I believe that when you first start your company, you need to do everything. That's what I believe. And the reason you need to do everything, because this goes into CEOing too, and I'm going to do a whole confession on standard operating procedures, or SOPs. You need to have documented how you want everything done in your company. If you start out at the onset of delegating, then you won't have documentation and you won't have documentation about how you want it done. Now, there's probably only 2 exceptions to where you don't start out doing anything. Anything legal, unless you are an attorney, do not play attorney. Don't do that. And your finances, at least from the onset, have a bookkeeper. Now, a bookkeeper is not an accountant. An accountant is not a tax strategist. They are all different. That's another lesson for another day. But at least have someone else managing the finances that are coming into your business so that you can have a very clear strategic view financially of where your business stands in terms of its solvency and your ability to be sustainable. If you are the one managing your money, I'm going to tell you that you're probably going to embezzle. You're probably embezzling right now. I won't tell on you today. But CEOs don't embezzle unless they want to go spend some time in jail. I wouldn't recommend that you keep that up. But see, this is why I talk about the fact that understanding what a CEO is so important, because many of us don't even realize it. And we think we get a client, the client pays us in full, we can take all of that money out of the business and pay our mortgage. Nah, sis. Nah, bruh. That's not the way it works. What you really ought to do is establish from day one as the sole proprietor in your business, because that's who you are on day one, regardless of what you say on your business card, what you're going to pay yourself so that you can make sure that you handle your financial obligations outside of your business, while also making sure that there's money in your business to tend to the needs of your business. See, it's going to be hard to get your business to move forward if everything that comes in is going out for your personal gain. If that is you, no disrespect, but you're self-employed. There's a difference. And if you're going to be self-employed, you might as well just be a sole proprietor. And I would never encourage anyone to be a sole proprietor. If you really want to build a business, even if you don't desire to be a CEO, if you want to have a small contractor team of people who support your efforts and help you to do what it is that you do, but you have no intentions of taking your company to the million or multiple $1 million levels, you still want to make sure that you have systems, strategies, and SOPs in place to manage the company the right way so that it is sustainable, so that at minimum, it meets your needs for the entire time that you are operating your business as a self-employed person. There's a difference, right? So as the CEO, hiring the leaders, the people that come in, first you'll hire admin team, right? So I like to break your org chart down into 3 teams. You'll have an operations team. Those are the people who are responsible for the day-to-day management of the company. You'll have a talent team. Those are the people that are responsible for working with the clients and providing the service that you provide, right? And then you'll have a sales team, or some people say marketing and sales team. You can put your marketing can go on your operations team, or your marketing can go with sales. It's totally up to you, however you want it to work. Marketing is really a big part of operating. Sales does need to be set aside. So that is the way that we teach it to our clients. As the CEO, when you're starting your business with these 3 teams, at first it's going to be you everywhere, right? It's going to be operations team, me, sales team, me, talent team, me. But we want to slowly start to back out of you doing everything yourself, but not before you've taken the time to write the procedures down, to get clear about what you want to do. The first few years in my business, I spent really documenting every single procedure. It got to the point so that when I started hiring team, I could bring a team member on and they could be up to speed and functioning in their role in 30 days or less, because we had taken the time, or when I say we, I mean I, because I was the only one in my business at the time, calling myself a CEO, had taken the time to actually document all of the procedures. See, so when I say CEOing ain't easy, it's because there's a lot of work in the beginning. Everybody you've ever met that looks like they've arrived, they've been working that thing for a minute. Myself included. You know, some of you might feel like, oh my gosh, where did she come from? She's so amazing. Yeah, I didn't wake up like this and I didn't start like this. It's been a journey. It's been a trajectory of showing up consistently, but also being very, very clear about what I wanted my business to be. And realizing the times in which I stumbled and I made a misstep, and giving myself permission to take a step back and either start over or kill it. I completely killed my business years ago because I didn't love what I had created. See, when you're the CEO and you're clear about your big reason why, you can easily course correct and get yourself back on track. It took me a few years to kind of break everything, kill the monster, and reestablish the initial vision that I had for the company, but I was able to do it, and in so doing, put myself on a trajectory to get back to multiple millions in a shorter period of time than it took me the very first time. That is going to happen when, as the CEO, you recognize the role that it is that you play. Let me just talk about a few other things, because today I'm telling you that being a CEO isn't easy, but I'm also just defining for you what it is to be a CEO, because I really want you to ask yourself when this is all said and done, am I a CEO and do I want to be one? And guess what? It's okay if you don't want to be a CEO. It's totally okay. I would much rather you hear all of the things and decide it's not for you than for you to continue down a path that you can't win because your heart isn't in it. So a CEO is also going to be responsible for making sure that you get to set the culture for your company. And even when you're the only one in your company, even when I was the only one in my company, I was establishing a company culture. Today, with all of these employees that we had, we were on Zoom today and I couldn't see everyone. I'm like, oh, look at us. The team is just getting bigger and bigger. Now I got to scroll to be able to see every single person who is on my team. And it feels so good because I know that I was called to this. I don't expect it to be easy. I don't expect every day to be sunshine and rainbows, but I do expect to do work that really does change the lives, not just of our clients, but first I want to change the lives of our employees. Can I just talk about my employees for like 2 seconds? So like we have one employee, we have one employee, first homeowner in her family. She got me the cutest Christmas present. It was a card, and inside of the card, she listed out everything she had learned in working with me for a year and some change in the business. It was better than her getting me a bracelet or a book or a gift card to anywhere. To know, oh, I might cry. To know that my work and my desire to establish a culture, listen, to establish a culture when there was nobody else here. Me and my dog Latte, rest her soul. When it was just me and Latte, I had a company culture. And I was thinking about the day when I would have employees who would come and work with me. And in working with me, they would become better humans because they were in my presence working at this company. I thought about that. And so to get that card from her, it's actually right back there. To get that card from her at Christmas was like blown away of that impact, right? I have another employee who talks about my company, the company that I and God created, like it's his company. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me tell y'all this. Okay, I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to go here. I was having a conversation with my financial management team. So my financial management team, this is CEO stuff. So let me just tell you all about it. I may do a confession all about my financial management team. But my financial management team is comprised of an estate attorney, a tax attorney, an employment attorney, a financial advisor, who am I missing? A CPA. I'm missing like 3 people. 3 people I'm missing. But anyway, so on this team, I'm having a conversation. This particular time I was talking with my financial advisor. And we were talking about succession planning for my company, right? Because I'm not going to live forever, right? This is not fame. I'm not going to live forever. And even if I did live, Betty White years, my intention is not to be working in my company for all of those years. Like there's a point at which I want to retire, potentially pursue some additional interests. And so we were talking about succession planning and some of the things that I, as a CEO, had to put in place and be thinking about before we ever got to the point where my company might be sold, right? And so we have, I don't think I said intellectual property. I have an intellectual property attorney also on my team. And so anyway, I was talking with my financial advisor and he's like, do you think you would have employees that would have an interest in keeping your company alive in the event that something will happen to you? Because right now I do not have children and my husband does not want my company. My husband runs another one of our companies, the Harmon Development Group. He has no interest in wanting Incredible One Enterprises. And I don't have anyone right now in my mind that I didn't prior to starting to have these conversations with my financial management team, have anybody in my mind at the possibility that could do that. And most of my team is new. I have one team member that's been with me for 8 years. And then everyone else is within the last 2 years because we started rebuilding and leveraging and scaling the company and allowing me to really move into being a CEO over the last 2 years. And so I posed this question just to my team, just to see what they would say, what they were thinking. And to my surprise and astonishment, amazement, the team members that were asked said that they had an interest in having the legacy and the impact of this company living on. Why did I say all of that? Because we were talking about culture and the establishment of culture being a derivative from you as the CEO. It starts here and it trickles down, and it has to trickle down to every level to make sure that no matter how many tiers of people, right now we only have 2 levels of management, we have myself at the top, and then we have another layer, and then we have all of the people. But who knows what might happen in the future as we move into becoming a $50 or $100 million company. We may have more layers and more levels, and it's going to be equally as important that as the CEO at that particular point in time, I've thought through the culture and how we maintain. We do the same thing with our programs. I want to make sure that the people who are my clients, I know who they are. I don't ever want anyone to be coming into conversation with me and they're like, oh, it's me. I wear the yellow whatever beanie when we're on the coaching calls. Like, I want to know the people that I work with. I want to know the people that are part of this vision and helping me to do the work that it is that God has called for me to do. So those are when we think about the definition of a CEO, those are the things that if you truly desire to be the CEO of $1 million company, those are the things that you need to think about and be prepared for. So what I want you to do throughout this series is I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I've realized, some of the things that I will never do inside of my own company. It's all to help you to make a decision as to whether or not you want to prepare your own business to make and move millions. And for those of you who you already know that you're on a trajectory to millions and you would like some additional support from us, that's why this conversation, the entire series, is powered by our Move to Millions live event, which is happening in May, with an opportunity for you to join us in March to get a taste, right? Not just because the Bible says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good, but sometimes we need a sample. I don't know where you live in the country or in the world, but here in the States, we have a water ice company or an ice cream company, a water ice company called Rita's. I don't know. I think that is just regional. And then we also have Baskin Robbins, which is probably more international. At Baskin Robbins, you can get the pink spoon, right? You walk in and you ask for a sample of pralines and cream. That's my favorite ice cream. And they will give you a pink spoon sample. So if you're looking to sample what we're going to be sharing at our live event in May, where we're going to help you to prepare to make and move millions, you can join us on tour. Right now, we are in our super early bird for our tour for a nominal investment of $49. You can join us in Delaware, in Atlanta, in DC, or our virtual tour stop, which we're still working out the dates for that. But I just want to reiterate, if you are in the DMV, DC, Maryland, or Virginia, if you are in Atlanta or can get there within a few hours, or you are in the tri-state area of Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, New York even, get here. I'm like Olita Adams. I don't care how you get here, but get here if you can. Because the virtual is not going to do justice to the experience and the energy you will get to be in, live in, feel through when you come and join us in the room. We do some really cool things on our tour. I will do some teaching. I will help you to get really, really clear about what it's going to take to get your business to 7 figures. We're going to share part of our forthcoming docu-series. I'm going to do some business makeovers. That, to me and to most people, is always the best part of the whole experience, is watching me make over a business in 10 minutes or less. So if you can get in the room in one of those cities, get in the room. It is ridiculous and tremendous. And if you know you don't need to get in the room, then you could just go and grab your ticket right now. We're on early bird registration for the Move to Millions live event in May. You can just go and grab your ticket. That's an option for you too. And there's a cool pay in there so you can pay for it over the next few months. But I just want to say, again, that being a CEO, a real CEO, is work. And there are layers to it. Today, I am not the equivalent to the CEO of Bank of America. I'm not the equivalent to that, right? I only have 7 employees and 7 or 8 contractors, right? So I'm not anywhere near that. But for where I am now, and likely part of the next step for where you are, understanding what it's going to take and the decisions you have to make and what you have to think about in order to actually truly, confidently, and boldly call yourself the CEO of your own company, on the move towards the $1 million mark, making more money than you know what to do with, being able to impact the lives of others through your employees and the community at large through the causes that you support. If those are the things that are exciting and of interest to you, and you don't just want it to be a pipe dream, you don't want it to just be something that you have thought about and wouldn't it be nice if If you truly want to figure out how to be able to make that your reality and how to get the support that you need to operate at that level, I want to invite you to join us. I want to invite you to make sure you can go to, we have several links in there. We should also just put gettoknowdarnyelle.com. Everything is there. That's our link tree. So you can go to gettoknowdarnyelle.com. That's our link tree, and scroll. There are tons of free resources, opportunities to join us on tour, to learn, listen to our podcast, do all the things are available to you there. My mission again is, if you are millions minded, if you've got millions on your mind, to set you up so that you don't fail on the journey to millions, and you actually do get to impact the world while making more income than you ever thought was possible. Listen, I was born in the projects of Wilmington, Delaware. I did not think, I had dreams of grandeur as a child. I was lucky enough, although in my immediate house, I wasn't taught about dreaming big and I could be whatever I want. I was lucky enough to have teachers and counselors who looked at me and they saw potential. And they gave me the space to create a vision for my life and to walk it out. So amazing to sit today to think about Miss Dixon, who was my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Cook, who was my guidance counselor in high school, Miss McFan, who was my English teacher in 10th grade, Miss Light James, who I had in FAME and I also had in high school. All of these teachers and all of these people that showed me what was possible for me to live life at the next level. And today, to be sitting in this seat as the CEO of a company, a burgeoning company, on the move to multiple millions, on the move to 8 figures, all because I decided to do the hard work, even though CEOing ain't easy. So I just want to thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm going to open up actually, I'm not going to do that because we're on all the platforms. So I'm just going to, again, tell you to go to gettoknowdarnyelle.com, gettoknowdarnyelle.com. All the links are there. All of the ways to learn about how we can aid you on your journey, on your own move to making and moving millions. There's nothing that would give us more joy than to be able to participate in your journey in some way. So go and check us out. We'll be back here next Monday, next Move to Millions Monday, for another episode of what am I calling this? The Confessions of a Real $1 Million CEO. I also wanted to do this, and this is no shade to anybody else who's out there in the marketplace. I wanted to do it. I'm going to tell this one last quick story. When in 2014, the year that I crossed the $1 million mark for the very first time, I had a business coach at the time. And that business coach at the time was allegedly a multi-million-dollar CEO, allegedly. And I don't know if I'm wrong in thinking this, that if you have a business coach, your business coach should advise you on all things business. If I'm not wrong, if that's the right way to look at this, put a 6 in the chat. I think we're at 6. Am I wrong to think that my business coach should be advising me on how to grow my business and telling me about my blind spots that I should have and things I should be thinking about? Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it allegedly. And the reason why I say allegedly is because I was approaching the $1 million mark in my business. And the coach didn't advise me the way that I advise my clients today. Like we have on our team, we have a financial management and tax strategist. And so we're paying attention to where you are revenue wise. We have our clients report their revenue to us on a monthly basis. And we're paying attention to where they are so that when we get into critical junctures inside of a tax year, we can advise them on things that they need to do in order to minimize their tax liability. So this alleged multi-million-dollar coach that I had, who was clear about what my goals were, did not advise me, or at least suggest that I go talk to someone who could advise me to help me to know what I needed to do in order to avoid in 2014 paying $400,000 in taxes. I don't want that to happen to anybody else. Not on my watch. I don't want anybody who desires to generate millions of dollars a year, to live their best life, to create legacy and wealth for their children's children, and to be able to impact the organizations and the ministries that are important to them. I don't want anybody else I know to ever have to go through that. That's why I do this. That is why I do this. It's not happening on my watch. I have organized an amazing team of advisors and consultants and coaches to support me in supporting our clients that way. Because we're not playing with this $1 million thing. I believe millions is your birthright. I believe that when God said he gave you the power to create wealth, he had millions in mind. That's what I believe. And I believe that you having access to millions is not just so you can flex. I mean, sure, get the bag if you want. Buy the shoes. It's fine. Get the car. Do all of it. But I want you to always be putting more in you than you're putting on you so that you can leave something to somebody else. Like, could we just think for a second of how different life would be if our parents, and for those of you whose parents have already left us, especially if they would have created an environment to be able to leave us with something other than overwhelm and debt. That's what I'm doing for my children that don't even exist yet. They're not going to get a bill. They're going to get access to a trust. Did you hear me? Like, that's what it's about for me. I believe that entrepreneurship, business ownership, being a CEO is about truly putting yourself in position to not only live your best life today, but to make life better for those that you love tomorrow. That's what I believe it's all about. And I'm so honored. I'm so grateful. I'm so humbled that this is the work that I get to do. And I get to work with an amazing team of people who share my vision. So if you hear me share my heart today, if you would like to learn more about what it's like to be in our camp, I invite you to go to gettoknowdarnyelle.com. gettoknowdarnyelle.com. And we'd love to have you join us on the Move to Millions tour or at the Move to Millions live event in May. Slide in my DMs if you have any questions, anything that you'd like to have us add, like as we're doing the series over these coming weeks. If you have questions about what it takes and what it means to be a CEO, drop that in my DMs and we'll see how we can work that into one of our future episodes of Move to Millions Monday. But I just want to thank you guys for your time and for your attention, for your love and for your energy. And I just want to remind you that millions is your birthright. And if you did not come from millions, millions ought to come from you. And the way that we make that happen is by helping you to build a business that serves you both financially and spiritually. My name is Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. I am the CEO of Incredible One Enterprises, and we will literally change every area of your life if you let us. Gettoknowdarnyelle.com, gettoknowdarnyelle.com, gettoknowdarnyelle.com. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Now, this is always the hard part, closing out of all of the things. That's always the hard part. So I'm just going to keep talking while I'm trying to get everything closed out. If you, like I said, let me say this too. If you're not in our group on Facebook, the Move to Millions Club, go and join us there. Goodbye, Facebook. Signing off for